At this time, we'll call to order the regular meeting of Plan Commission. This is February 24, 2025. Kelly, roll please.
Mayor Boyd.
I'm here.
Citizenmember Bush.
Here.
Citizenmember Higgins.
Here.
Citizenmember Raymaker.
Here.
Citizenmember Schilling.
Here.
Alderperson Hansen.
Here.
Alderperson Gantz.
Here.
Thank you. Item 2, approval of the minutes of the January 27th, 2025 Plan Commission meeting. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Brenda. Discussion or comments on the agenda? Seeing there is none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, public comment on matters not on the agenda. Comments made during the public comment period shall pertain only to matters under the jurisdiction of the Plan Commission. Anyone in person or virtually have any public comments upon matters not on the agenda, now's your time to speak. If so, just raise your hand in person or just state your name virtually. For the second time, any public comment upon matters not on the agenda? Just stand out there. For the third and final time, any public comment upon matters not on the agenda, now is your time. All right. Item 4, consideration and possible action for a 2-outlot extraterritorial CSM 5220 County Highway X in Glenmore, part of Parcel GL-111. Peter.
Thank you very much. This is an extraterritorial certified survey map, as you had mentioned, for 2 outlots. These are not buildable lots; these are outlots in the middle of the area that you see on the map to the left. I've outlined it. The certified survey map is to the right. It's the 2 rectangles that appear to be one on top of the other. They obviously they do not have street access, but that is acceptable because they are identified as unbuildable outlots. In Glenmore, they are zoned A1 agricultural, which is a farmland preservation category. Oftentimes that does carry a 35-acre minimum lot size. So we have advised the petitioners of that piece of information, and so that they make sure that that is cleared with Brown County when they go through the Brown County review phase. Planning staff recommends approval of the certified survey map, subject to the condition you see in your report.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Just out of curiosity, they're not buildable, but why would this request be made?
There are certain criteria that need to be met in order for a lot to be considered a lot and not an outlot. One is, in some cases, it's a minimum lot size or a minimum street frontage, and criteria like that. In this case, there is no street frontage, and they are identified as unbuildable outlots.
Peter, is it an outlot because it doesn't have street frontage?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Other questions or comments? Just to move it on, I'll make a motion to approve the CSM subject to the terms listed.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Mark. Additional questions or comments regarding this item on the agenda? Seeing there are no more, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5, consideration and possible action for a zoning map amendment from PI-1 PDD Neighborhood Public and Institutional District with the Planned Development District overlay to GX1 Office Residential Mixed District at 436 College Avenue, and from PI-1 PDD Neighborhood Public and Institutional District with the Planned Development District overlay to PI-1 Public and Institutional District at 410 Grant Street, 419 Grant Street, and 400 Grant Street, parcels WD-657, WD-646, WD-6461, and WD-6491, Peter.
Could you say that one more time? So I really apologize for that terribly long agenda item name, but there just was no short way to list all the properties. We actually are looking at this zoning map amendment in 2 parts, and that's why I listed it in the 2 maps that you have in your meeting packet. They are actually side by side. You can see that the first we're going to talk about is this area right here, and then the second we're going to talk about the area right beside it, which is this area right here. For the area that's on the left half, What is being petitioned is a rezoning from a PI-1 zoning district, which is a public and institutional category for the St. Norbert College, to a GX1 district, which allows a mixed use of residential and offices. That request will also remove the diagonal stripes that you see over the top, which is a PDD or a Planned Development District overlay. That PDD overlay was originally created for the purpose of creating these two buildings, but it contains no other valuable data for anything in the future. So it helps to clean up our zoning map by removing it. The area that's on the right half is simply removing the diagonal lines for that very same reason. They were put there to create the buildings that were in that area, but it no longer serves any purpose and are not needed. So this request is helping to remove those lines from the map. So planning staff recommends approval of the request to change the area to the left to a GX1 zoning district, and then to take both halves and remove the PDD overlay.
Thank you. Questions, comments? I believe St. Norbert is here if you have any questions directly for them. My assumption obviously is they want to do this because they want to develop differently, correct?
I believe the property on the left is going to be sold to a third party.
Oh, so that's
It's
what
no
it's gonna
longer
be.
Selling.
associated with the college.
Okay.
Peter, I noticed there was something written for public comments. And
Oh, yes.
were there any since this, the printing?
We had a number of students that were residents in the dorms where the zoning is taking place on the left part of this project. And it simply was students that were inquiring what was going on and what the sign was for in their yard that they saw, because we are required to put signage up when a zoning map amendment is taking place.
But there were no objections from
There were no objections. I did ask everyone who asked if they had any reason for objecting, and none of them said that they objected.
Very good. Thank you. Other questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion by Alderperson Hanson, seconded by Shane. Additional discussion or comments?
I have a question.
Go
Do
ahead.
we know what it's going to be when it's sold?
That may be a better question for the representative here for St. Norbert College.
We're going to have you go over there. I'll make a motion to open the meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Gantz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We just need your name and address, and then we'll just have, you can
Have to
direct.
turn this on, or is it on?
I think it's all good.
It's on.
Yep.
My name's David Nalepka, and I'm the Director of Risk and Property Management for St. Norbert College. And I think the question was, what's happening with the property? This was a property that was an existing apartment complex back in 2013, and the college acquired it and had been using it for student housing since that point. We've done some analysis on what our needs are in the future, and this property is not going to be needed for student housing going forward. So we're looking at changing it back to the residential type, the residential and commercial GX1, so that the buyer will be able to use it as apartments. My understanding is a institutional member wouldn't be able to own this property. So we have to change it back to essentially what it was before the college purchased it, so the new owner can use it as an apartment building going forward.
It sounds like you have a buyer lined up.
Yes, we've accepted an offer. We will be closing on that on June 24th. And to answer the question about the students' concerns, the students will be vacating the apartments May 18th, 19th timeframe, and then we will be working with the buyer on transitioning to the closing on June 24th.
Well, we need apartments. Were you done with your question?
Yep, thank you.
Are you good?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate you answering. I'll make a motion to go back to regular session.
I'll second.
Motion by me, second by Alderperson Gantz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Back to the floor. We do have a motion in a second, correct? I think you
do.
guys made that?
Yes.
Any other questions or comments you have? All right, seeing there are no more. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Up next, what are we on, 6? Help me out here, people. Are we on 6?
Yeah.
Consideration and possible action for a zoning map amendment from PI-1 PDD, Neighborhood Public and Institutional District, with the Planned Development District overlay to PI-1 Public and Institutional District at 409 North Broadway Street, Parcel ED-751. Peter.
To keep this one quick and simple, very much like the last project we were talking about, where part of that was just removing the diagonal stripes on the zoning map. That's what this request is doing. The White Pillars Museum is proposing an expansion to their property with a site plan development, and the PDD overlay is simply getting in the way, and they're asking for it to be removed from the map because it is of no value to them due to it being for a building that no longer exists on the site.
Makes sense to me. Questions or comments or a motion?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Motion by Mark, second by Alderperson Gantz. Discussion or comments? Seeing there are none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 7, consideration and possible action to name a newly built street, Innovation Drive, located between Southbridge Road and Creamery Road, and to remove the street names Innovation Drive and French Road to two former street sections that no longer exist. That made a lot of sense. Peter, what do you got for us?
I don't know how much detail you want me to go into with this.
I-
As you can see from the air photo, you can see the former French road kind of comes in, used to come in like this, and Innovation Drive was just a little stub that came in like this. It last fall was rebuilt to be this dark black line. So it now kind of is in the place of both streets, and a street name needed to be picked. So
pick one.
the staff is suggesting retaining Innovation Drive. The business that exists at this location in the business park would retain its mailing address and street name as Innovation. This residential property will need to have an address change from 1985 French Road to 2255 Innovation Drive. I talked to the property owner just this afternoon. They are aware of the change and are okay with the address change.
Okay.
So planning staff recommends approval of this change in street name to help make wayfinding easier.
Thank you. That'll clean things up.
Yep.
Mr. History Guy, do you know that the French family was very famous in De Pere way back
did
in the
not
late
know that.
1800s? But I'm not sure it was named after them. It could have just been something happenstance or something. So just thought I'd just stump you on that one a little bit.
Right.
Yeah,
Good one.
yeah.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Motion by Alderperson Gantz, seconded by me to approve the name
Approve.
change. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing there are none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8, discussion to review the 2024 City of De Pere Housing Affordability Report Update. Peter.
This is a housing affordability report that we are required to create due to 2017 Wisconsin Act 243. A report is created every year to identify housing affordability and compare it to expenses for development over the past year. It's a report that we must put online by January 31st of each year. I don't know if it gets a lot of traffic. I think it's mostly staff that looks at it.
Would you guys please
But
click on
we are
that?
required to put it online and let you ask any questions.
Thank you. Questions anyone has regarding the affordability report? Alderperson Hanson.
Yeah, Peter, I appreciate the map with all the areas in the city that could potentially have residential development. I just wanted to ask specifically about some of the infill development opportunities. I know some of the lots are next to homes where the home is owned by the person who also owns the vacant lot, and they might want to leave it that way so they don't have someone right next to them. But for other examples, is there anything the city does to try to promote more infill development?
Yes, we rewrote the zoning ordinance a couple of years ago to allow for smaller lot sizes and reduced setbacks to encourage infill development. Is that the kind of question you're asking?
Yeah, I mean,
That was the number one thing that we did was we created the ability to make smaller lots, whereas our older zoning ordinance really didn't play nice with small lots.
So anywhere where there's a green that reflects the new smaller lot sizes that are available?
Yeah, what we did is we utilized GIS to call out any lot that had a, from tax records, any improvement value that was under a certain criteria. I think it was under $10,000 or $15,000. So it still might catch an individual lot that would have a garage on it and not a house, but it would eliminate most properties that would have a house on it. And that's how it identified those properties as being potentially vacant. So some of them are truly vacant. Some of them might have a small outbuilding or a freestanding garage or something like that. But we still let the map kind of reflect that those are potentially vacant lots.
Thank you.
And I think, I can't quite see it, but I think in the downtown, there may be potential opportunities for some affordable units, just nothing quite yet, correct? I think there's some, like.
Yeah, our things like our city parking lots will show up on this map because, there's not a development on it. Is that what is that?
That,
what
or
you're saying?
I think Main Avenue, we were looking potentially there, which we have discussed before, but, potentially that, or there might be a parcel somewhere near the downtown, but I'm not sure if it's up there because we don't know yet what we're gonna do, so.
Yeah, most lots.
Mayor, point of clarification.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan, I thought you'd jump in. I just want to see if you're listening. I thought I'd throw some stuff out there.
Point of clarification, on the map isn't documenting where affordable housing could be. The map is documenting where all residential properties could occur.
Oh, thank you.
So even though there may be some in the downtown, the majority of the map that you see in the infill lots are adjacent owners that have chosen not to develop. So outside of them deciding to either sell or change, there's not much the city can do on that side. But I want to just make it known that the map itself is all residential, not just affordable residential, what would be deemed as affordable residential housing.
Thank you for that.
Just, in terms of final approved residential land divisions, building permit apps, 135, how does that stack up against previous years, or, is that,
Which page are you looking
that
at?
was on page 2,
On page, let me get myself back.
or 31 of our packet.
Isn't it and it's in the memo too, under the summary. You said 135 units,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. Yeah, it was 135 units. Is that
That's the number of new.
is that an average year, or, is it, how does it stack up?
Last year was 55.
Okay.
So yeah, this was a kind of a tremendous leap up in the number of units
So
being created.
that's a good sign. And then is the undeveloped city acreage, 842? Is that, is that going down as we're building more?
I think there's a little blip in the data between last year and this year because we used a much better ability to kind of snag some of these parcels that we might have missed in last year's map. So if you look at last year compared to this year, this number 842 actually took a little jump up from what it was in the previous year. But previous years, the number kind of slowly steps down as lots are developing. So for example, when you look on that map, if you look in the far southwest corner, that's one of the most recent subdivisions that we approved as a plan commission. A lot of it is green, but you can see there's a couple of speckles of not green in that map. And next year, probably half of that will be gone as it's slowly developing. And as those are slowly developing and the green is going away, this number goes down.
Right.
So the only way that this number kind of goes back up is if we annex
That
property,
was my
or,
next question, yeah.
or if all of a sudden something gets torn down and land becomes vacant and available again.
Okay, very good. And I noticed in the housing affordability, there was some comparison to some of our neighboring communities in terms of how we stacked up. So that's good to see. Looks like we're kind of in the middle.
Mayor, I can add 2 additional comments to that addresses 2 additional thoughts for Mark.
Yes.
In the next few months, we'll be annexing the former Turf property into the city, which will bring in about 75 total acres, of which about 2/3 of which would anticipate to be in that residential classification / natural resources. So that's that one. And then from an overall number standpoint, a total single-family permits that we had last year was just under 70. So, but we did have some multifamily projects that were approved through the Plan Commission be underway during that Honeysuckle, or sorry, not Honeysuckle, Waterview Heights 5th edition, the best built subdivision. So you did see a significant jump in the multifamily component based off of that one. And again, that's because of that. Now, in the next few months, hopefully you start to see a couple new residential projects come forward to the Finance and Personnel Committee. So next year we may see some jumps again.
Okay, well, very good.
That's good.
Trends are good.
Yeah, very, very good. Other questions or comments?
Oh, I have one
Alderperson
here.
Hanson.
Yeah, so a few years ago, the city annexed in the Becker property, kind of on Heritage Road. It's that like blue parcel. It does indicate in here that it's potential for residential, but not zoned. Just wondering kind of what the process is in terms of, do we anticipate the property owners are going to request a zoning of that, or?
At the time that was annexed, if my recollection is correct, the property owner wanted to use it for farming until they were done farming 10, 20, 30 years from now. And the property was at that time zoned agricultural. So it does not fall into the zoned residential, but it has the potential to be zoned residential. If
I
the
see.
property owner chooses to ask for it to be zoned residential, then the plan commission and council would evaluate it at that time. If we wanted to pursue asking them to change it to residential, I don't know if there's really any benefit to doing it until they're ready to.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you. You got your question answered?
Yep.
Other questions or comments? I'll make a motion to receive and place this on file.
I'll second that.
Motion by me, seconded by Grant. Additional discussion or comments? Seeing there are none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, discussion about site plans received since the January 2025 Plan Commission meeting and review of the status of recently approved development projects. Peter?
This is our monthly list of projects. I know last month I asked you if you wanted the tables. You may notice they do look a little bit different, and a couple of them got cut off. I did find a way to very quickly get it to print for me, but it did. The drawback was it does take a few of the tables and chop them in half, and your color coding is gone. Where you may remember that there was a green bar on each of the tables, but you can tell where the status is because you see there's a little letter C in each cell. Those cells would be where it was normally colored green. But this helped to turn a 10-minute preparation into about a half-a-minute preparation for you. So,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted. We didn't want you burdened.
so if you have any questions on any of these site plans, I'm available. I do know that over the last month or two or three, you did have questions about one project that seemed to be lingering on here.
Right.
We did in January send them a letter identifying that their site plan was expired and it is now removed from this list.
Yeah,
Oh,
Is that Bay?
Yeah, I believe so. They do have another, they still have a second project that's on here that hasn't
Right. that
expired.
was- Okay,
But yeah, their expansion project did expire because their site plan is now over a year old.
thank you for following up on that.
Anyone questions or comments on any developments? All right, still busy and active. All right, that said, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn just a bit, but stick around because we're going to stop recording and then Dan's going to show off his newest addition to his family.
Oh, okay.
His new son Archer, but he doesn't want Archer to be recorded. So, Jamie, I'm sure you heard that. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn, and we'll get a second from someone.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Shane. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.